that crickets or their energy there? Okay, well, let me share this with you. When I go to, do events with, 8,000, 10,000 people, if I'm brought into a corporation or an environment, I gotta find out why people are really there. So I usually spend a few minutes going around the room, picking people and saying, what do you want? Why are you here? What are you after? And oftentimes I'll ask the audience, like, how many of you are here because you want to transform or change something? Everybody raise their hand. Say, okay, well, how many of you want to take your business to the next level? And I have a lot of business owners in my seminar, so like 70% of the room will raise their hand. And then I'll say, how many of you here because you want to transform your body, have more energy, lose weight, have some strength? And you got like 70% of the room. And I'll say, how many of you want to transform your relationship, have more passion, more aliveness? And more people do it. How many of you came because you want to make more money? And more people scream, I'm going, you greedy bastards, you want everything from this event, right? But the reason I tell you this is because I then have to help that audience understand what they're really after. And I say it to them, and I say it to you right now. Think about what you want for your life. What do you really want? What's the next level? What's your desire? And when I tell people what people really want, ultimately is an even greater quality of life. We all want to have a magnificent life, an extraordinary life, an outstanding life. And so what is a magnificent life? Well, everyone has a different view of that, right? Some people's idea of a magnificent, outstanding, extraordinary life is 3 beautiful children. Some people, for them, it's writing poetry, or having a magnificent garden, or building $1 billion business, or praying each day and connecting with God. We all have different ideas. So whatever your idea is, maybe it's time to get clear, like update your idea of what would an extraordinary life look for you today. Because often we made these decisions 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and look, let's be honest. Most of the time, what you envision, what you want, doesn't happen. You get disappointed, right? It doesn't work out. It's not as easy as we hoped it would be. Or somebody you care about let you down or betrayed you. And as a result of that, what most of us do is we start to limit ourselves because we don't want to get excited and be disappointed. So we no longer really invest ourselves 100%. And when you don't give 100%, there's no way on earth you're going to achieve what you want, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Does that make sense? So I tell people, figure out what you really want. What would life be like for you at the next level? And I don't care what stage of life you're in. I know I meet people, kids that are really young, and I deal with people in their 80s and 90s. There's people, at my seminars, I had a woman in my seminar that came to, I think, 9 of them in a row, and she was like 89 years old. And she was always in the front row. She had to fight people to get in there. And she'd be jumping and going for it, like all these things. And I was doing these big seminars. She followed me from city to city like a Grateful Dead. I finally said to her, I met her and connected with her, and she said, I've had such a good time. And I said, yes. I said, do you think I'm the Grateful Dead? What is this deal? She goes, no, every time I come, I get more and I have so much momentum in my life. And so I wanted to do these events. And she goes, but I got to ask you a question. How do you stay so up all the time? I mean, I've seen you and I know you're exhausted. I can hear your throat is hurting. I can see you, certain points when the audience is not looking, you're touching your back. I know you're hurting. Like, how do you stay so up? And I said, well, part of it is I attend all these seminars, right? Because I'm teaching it, I'm embodying it, I'm living it, I'm experiencing it, right? So there are 2 skills that you need to master if you want to have an extraordinary life. And the first skill is the science of achievement. And notice I said science of achievement, meaning there are rules. If you align with those rules, you're going to succeed. If you ignore them, it's at your peril. You're going to have failure or challenge. So for example, I just wrote a book. I spent 4.5 years basically interviewing 50 of the smartest financial people in the world. Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, the biggest names that exist on earth. And I began to realize that all of these people that started with nothing, they're all people that were not part of the Lucky Sperm Club. They did it on their own from scratch. There is a pattern of what they did to become totally financially free. And so I put it in this book, and then I used the book to feed 100 million people. I gave all the money away from the book because I grew up poor with no food, and I decided I fed 42 million people in my life, and I thought, I want to do more than I've ever done in a year than I've done my whole life, and I did it. By the way, I'm going to feed another 100 million just in the US this year, including some in Canada, and I'm going to feed 1 billion over the next year. This idea of how do we take envision and make it real? Like your body. We all have, our bodies are unique biochemically. But come on, there's certain rules we all know you got to obey, right? If you violate those, you're going to have low energy and disease. If you align with those, you're going to have incredible levels of energy. So achievement is a science, and I've spent most of my life figuring out the best strategy for getting the result you want in your body or in your relationship and your finances. And I'm obsessed by it, and I love it. And it helps people change, and people love it. But as important as the science of achievement is, there's a second skill you must have to have an extraordinary life. And the second skill I'm going to tell you sounds so basic, because in our culture in North America and a good part of Europe and parts of Asia, very few parts of our culture value what I'm going to tell you. And it's why most people are in pain, and most people, even who succeed, are not really feeling fully alive. And that is the second master skill you got to learn to master to have an amazing life, is even more important. And it's called the art of fulfillment. The art of fulfillment. Notice I didn't say the science of fulfillment. The reason is there's not rules when it comes to being fulfilled, because every human being is fulfilled by different things. Does that make sense? Like the person right beside you might be your lover, best friend, your child, your same family, but you're going to be fulfilled by different things. That's just the nature. If you want to know what God loves or what the universe loves, go to the forest, right? It's great about BC, and the forest is everywhere, right? And you can see it. What does God love? Total diversity. Nothing is the same. And no leaf is the same. Everything is different. And so to be fulfilled, we got to find that different thing that fills us up. And if we don't get fulfilled, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. Making everybody happy but yourself is a disaster. So I'll give you an example. I have a dear friend named Steve Wynn. And you may have heard of his name because he built most of Las Vegas. He built the Bellagio Hotel, Treasure Island, the Mirage, and now he has the Wynn Hotels and the Encore. And he has them in Asia as well. And he's a dear, dear friend. And one day he calls me up and he says, "Where are you in the world?" I said, "I'm in Sun Valley, Idaho, where I have a vacation home." And he also has one there. And he goes, "I'm in Sun Valley." He goes, "It's my birthday. How about you come see me?" I said, "I'd love to come see you." He said, "Hey, Tony, when you come, I gotta show you something." He said, "I've got this unbelievable painting that I have coveted for 17 years. I've wanted it so bad, and I've never been able to get it, and I just outbid everyone in the world at Sotheby's, and I bought myself for my birthday this painting." And I said, "How much was it?" He said, $82 million, right? So I was like, oh my God. I said, "I can't wait to see it." So I'm driving to his house. And what's the picture you think I have in my head? An $82 million painting? What is that? That's got to be like some Renaissance thing. It's got to be like the Mona Lisa, What is it going to be? And I get to his house and I walk and he goes, "Check it out." And I look on his wall and he has this giant red square. Literally, it's a giant red square. If you know art, it's called a Rothko. And he paid $82 million. It's red with a little tinge of orange. That's the little variety they have. And he's like looking at it, like lit up like a Christmas tree, like, "Look!" And I'm like, "Steve, it's a red square. Give me $100 in 15 minutes. I can do this shit. I promise you." He didn't like that at all. He goes, "Tony, no, you don't understand. You don't know his story. He committed suicide." Well, I said, that must be his blood if it's $82 million. What the hell, right? But I tease him about it, but I actually respect him. Because I cannot get $82 million of value by looking at that thing. I can't get $100 worth of value, but he's so sophisticated. The brush strokes, the slight change in color, he lights him up like a Christmas tree. So pretty wild. So my point is, you gotta find what fulfills you. And some people say, "I'm too old, I only have so much time, I'm on the last chapter of my life." Look, if you're in your 70s or 80s or 90s in this room, I can tell you, I know people in the 70s and 90s that are more alive than they ever have because they have so much wisdom now. They can do more with their pinky than they used to do rushing in their head. Many of them are comfortable in themselves for the first time now at 60 or 70 or 80 years old. They never were their whole life. But sometimes they give up because they think there's only so much time left. So I want to tell you that the most important tool of fulfillment, the most powerful way to make sure it shows up completely for you, is to understand that no matter what age you are and no matter what stage of your life you are, as long as you're projecting in this mind, you're going to suffer. Because this human brain of ours is 2 million years old. And your brain is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to make you survive. So I don't care if you're 20 or 90, same brain. If you don't direct it It's always looking for what's wrong. It's always producing stress or fear or concern inside of you because it's old software. It's software that was designed for survival 2 million years ago. And now there's no saber-toothed tiger for us to have to fight or flight. So now our brain is still there looking for problems. So it thinks, what are people thinking of me? It freaks out about it, like it's life and death, when it really doesn't matter. Right? We only make it matter with our mind. Or do I have enough money? Where if you're in Canada and you are in the lowest income threshold, you're considered in poverty, you are the 1% of the world, not the 99%. The broke people in Canada, the people that are getting basic government assistance, are the 1% of the world because half the planet lives on $2.50 a day, $900 a year. So I don't want to live in poverty, but you got to understand, suffering has nothing to do with money. You can make billions of dollars and suffer. I get calls from billionaires all the time. They call me in and say, will you help me do this thing with my division of my company, or turn this around, or do this or do that? Because people always want something like Sienna. Remember Sienna? I have a weight problem. No, the real deep stuff she wasn't focused on, which was her daddy, right? So the same thing is true with us as human beings. We find things to worry about and we make them really big so we don't have to deal with the stuff that's a little more scary to us. But we can free ourselves from this if we realize what's wrong is always available, but so is what's right. And the way we got to change it is, as corny as it sounds, is learning how to use our heart as the guiding device. And that sounds metaphorical, but in a few minutes, I'm gonna have us do an exercise to finish this up together. And I'm gonna show you how to get out of stress in 2 minutes and solve something that you've not solved for a long way you've been putting off. And you'll see how to do it. I'm gonna demonstrate it. But let's start with the principle first.